Boy, there's one thing in Dallas you can't do. You cannot criticize Dak Prescott. Nobody's ever been coddled like Dak Prescott. If you criticize Dak Prescott, the fanboys come out of the woodwork. So Steve Young got in trouble yesterday. You know Steve Young, one of the great quarterbacks of all time, great lefty for the 49ers. Great all-time quarterback. He was talking about Cooper Rush coming in and winning a game. He said Dak Prescott is a fellow dual-threat quarterback, sits back and sees a guy come in. And this happened to me, said Steve Young. Remember when Steve Bono took over and he went in and just ran the offense? Just do the job, nothing fancy, just do the job. And it really told me something, said Steve Young. I needed to kind of reiterate to myself. And I want him to study Cooper Rush because in many ways, it's doing those fundamental things that can really help Dak when he comes back, which, by the way, Steve Young lived this reality and is telling you about the life he lived and how it relates to Dak. So I think it's fascinating. Oh, the fanboys came out of the woodwork. Dak Prescott's the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Makes $40 million a year, and it cannot beat good teams since his rookie year, a year in which he easily had the best O-line and running game in the league. Here is Dak Prescott versus playoff teams in his career, 12-21, and he's had more than enough weapons before this year and a great O-line. 12-21, what is he, Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football? Oh, wait. That's actually what I've compared him to the last 2 years. Have I or have I not said? Look at their career numbers. They're identical. Completion percentage, identical. Passing yards a game, identical. Passer rating, identical. TD interception ratio, identical. The difference is you mock Kirk Cousins and you coddle Dak Prescott. They are the same player. One's just more popular. One's cooler. By the way, Dak has had back-to-back offensive coaches, that matters, and has been supported since day one in Dallas. Kirk Cousins, they hated him in Washington, and in Minnesota, his last coach wanted to replace him. He's had to deal with that since day one. He finally gets now a coach that loves him and supports him, and he just beat Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that's the biggest difference between Dak and Kirk Cousins. One beats a Hall of Fame quarterback regularly, because Kirk Cousins has given Aaron Rodgers problems. They're the same quarterback. You just like one more. I mean, even their money, we all kind of privately think Dak's a little overpaid, and we all kind of publicly acknowledge Kirk Cousins could be a little overpaid. But you're the quarterback for America's team making $40 million, and you can't beat good teams. Who was the quarterback in Dallas before Dak? It was Tony Romo, who actually occasionally beat playoff teams with a terrible offensive line most of his career in Dallas. And you crushed him weekly. I remember when I came out and I said, I think Joe Burrow is going to be Tony Romo. And everybody saw it as a criticism. And I'm like, Tony Romo's got one of the 10 highest passer ratings of all time. I defended Tony Romo for years. I'm like, he's not Brady. He's not Manning. He's not Big Ben. He's not, he's not Breeze. He's good. Tony Romo couldn't catch a break in Dallas. Dak has people to defend him when Steve Young, who lived the experience, kind of self-deprecating, criticized himself. He went out and he said, I kind of learned. I was running around doing a bunch of stuff. And then Steve Bono came in for the Niners and kind of just dropped back, get rid of the ball. And I kind of watched it and said to myself, I got to do the basic things right. I mean, it's amazing. There are just certain jobs in America, shortstop for the New York Yankees, top scorer for the LA Lakers, head football coach at Ohio State or Alabama, and quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. You're going to get heat. It's part of the job. So this, I've got to tell you, this is one of my favorite stories so far in the football season. So the NFL polled, not the NFL, there was a poll of the most liked players in the NFL. And do you know who tied for the most liked players in the NFL? Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes tied. Russell Wilson. You know, the one on Twitter that's mocked, that you call cringy. The one the snarky media rolls their eyes at. Who believes in God, is uncool, is optimistic, is rah-rah, who's married with kids. He is the most popular player in the NFL. Want to know who else is on this list? Tom Brady. Going through some marriage strife. Patrick Mahomes has sort of a brother that occasionally embarrasses him. Kirk Cousins. A lot of dorky dads married with kids. Bad dad jokes. You know who's not on there? Super cool OBJ. Always cool Baker Mayfield. Not on the list. The media is out of touch, and I am as guilty as anyone. The media doesn't drive a 12-year-old car or go bowling or belly up to a small-town bar and order a domestic beer. No, they've got lists of IPAs. They go to cool concerts like my boy J-Mac, or they tell you how popular F1 racing is. Nobody cares about it. Yeah, I saw that. There was a story, a Netflix special on F1 racing. Oh, the media. Media's all got streaming services. They can afford those, right? And now I hear how popular F1 racing is. And then I went to our guy upstairs and I said, how popular is it? And among car racing fans, not even sports fans, just the small niche audience that likes car racing, just among car racing fans, F1 racing is the favorite of 8%. 80% NASCAR, but NASCAR is not cool, right? Not hip. Budweiser loves NASCAR. But F1 racing, that's what the media likes. I remember a couple years ago, Netflix did a story on veganism. And it scared everybody. And everybody suddenly, I'm going to be a vegan. The media, all they talked about, veganism. And then everybody figured out they like eggs and hamburgers and stopped being a vegan. Do you know what percentage of Americans vegan? 0.5. That's it. I love the fact that dorky, cringy Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes, whose brother sometimes is a little silly at stadiums and kind of, we all got somebody in the family, because these players are relatable, because all of us have somebody in the family that occasionally we roll our eyes, and all of us tell, adults, dads, tell cringy dad jokes and try to be cooler than we are, and we look like dorks. Yes, American adults who have kids, who are married, sometimes fight with their spouse, who have real stress and real jobs and have to be responsible and can't hang out on social media all day being snarky or play video games all day. They like Patrick Mahomes and they like Russell Wilson. And they're not vegan. And they probably don't watch F1 racing because they're busy. That poll makes me so happy. Religious, rah-rah, optimistic, dad joke, cringy, changing his look every 15 minutes to be cool, Russell Wilson, among American adults, is the most popular NFL player. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.